April 23rd, 1985, Atlanta, Georgia. The Coca-Cola Company is about to make the biggest announcement in its 99-year history, and it's going to be a disaster. Picture this. You're the world's most recognized brand. Your product, it's sold in over 155 countries. Your formula is locked in a vault, guarded like nuclear codes. You're not just a beverage. You are America in a bottle, and you're about to throw it all away. In exactly 79 days, you'll be forced to admit that you were wrong. You'll bring back the very thing you killed, and somehow this catastrophic failure will become the greatest accidental marketing coup in corporate history. This is the story of New Coke, the mistake that saved an empire. The year is 1982 and Coca-Cola is scared. For the first time in history, Pepsi is winning. The Pepsi Challenge, those blind taste tests in shopping malls, well, they're working. People prefer the sweeter taste. Pepsi's gaining market share, and Coke's executives are watching their dominance crumble one sip at a time. So they do what any panicked corporation would do. They mess with perfection. For 3 years, they conduct the most extensive product research in corporate history. 200,000 taste tests. $4 million spent. Focus groups across America. And the data is clear. People prefer the new, sweeter formula. On paper, it's a slam dunk. So, on April 23rd, 1985, Coca-Cola CEO stands before the press at Lincoln Center in New York City. With the confidence of a man who's done his homework, he announces, the best has been made even better, and New Coke is born. And within hours, America loses its mind. The backlash is immediate, and it's biblical. Coca-Cola's hotline, which usually gets 400 calls a day, is flooded with 8,000 calls daily. Angry calls, tearful calls, calls from people treating it like it's a death in the family. A man in San Antonio starts a group called Old Cola Drinkers of America. They file a class action lawsuit. Another group pickets Coca-Cola headquarters with signs reading, "We want the real thing." On the black market, yes, the black market, old Coke is being hoarded and sold at inflated prices. People are stockpiling cases like it's the apocalypse. Fidel Castro calls it a sign of American capitalist decadence. But here's the kicker. Even in communist Cuba, people want the old Coke back. By June, Coca-Cola's mailroom is drowning. Over 40,000 letters, some written in blood, others with funeral wreaths attached. And then, on July 11th, 1985, just 79 days after New Coke is launched, Coca-Cola does the unthinkable. They surrender. At a press conference, they announce the return of the original formula, now rebranded as Coca-Cola Classic. The company's president admits they underestimated the deep and abiding emotional attachment people had for the original Coke. And here's where it gets weird. Within 24 hours, Coca-Cola Classic becomes the #1 soft drink in America. The company's stock price soars. The press calls it the biggest marketing blunder of the century, but sales say otherwise. By the end of 1985, Coca-Cola has reclaimed its throne. They're not just surviving, they're thriving. On the surface, it looks like corporate incompetence. But zoom out, and you see something else entirely. New Coke didn't fail because it tasted bad. People preferred it in blind tests. It failed because Coca-Cola had become more than a beverage. It was a cultural artifact, a childhood memory, a symbol of American identity. And you can't taste test nostalgia. The genius, accidental or not, was that by threatening to take Coke away, the company reminded people why they loved it in the first place. The outrage wasn't about sugar and carbonation, it was about loss. And Coca-Cola learned something that would echo through the business world for decades. Your brand isn't what you say it is, it's what your customers feel that it is. This moment birthed an entire philosophy in marketing, emotional branding. The idea that products succeed not because they're objectively better, but because they tap into identity, memory, and belonging. Apple would later master this. So would Nike and Disney, and 1,000 startups selling your coffee, sneakers, and streaming services wrapped in feelings. But it all started here in a corporate boardroom in Atlanta, where executives learned the hard way that some things are too sacred to fix. But what if Coke had never altered its formula? Imagine Coca-Cola never panicked. Imagine they ignored the Pepsi challenge, trusted their legacy, and kept the original formula untouched. In this world, Pepsi's momentum continues. Without the new Coke controversy, there's no emotional reckoning. No reminder of what people stand to lose. Coca-Cola remains a beloved brand, but a complacent one. By the 1990s, Pepsi closes the gap, maybe even takes the lead. The Cola Wars become a real war. Not the nostalgic footnote that we remember, but a brutal neck-and-neck battle that Coke isn't guaranteed to win. In the business world, it stays obsessed with data. Focus groups and taste tests reign supreme. Brands optimize for flavor profiles and price points, but they miss the invisible thread, the emotional one that ties people to the products. Apple never learns to sell feelings over features. Nike sticks to performance specs. Disney markets movies as entertainment, not as cultural events. In this timeline, products are just products. And somewhere in Atlanta, in a vault gathering dust, the original Coca-Cola formula sits untouched, a relic of a safer time when companies knew better than to mess with perfection. But they never learned why it was perfect in the first place. So here's the truth about New Coke. It wasn't a mistake. It was a mirror. A $4 million mirror that showed Coca-Cola and the world what really matters. Not the formula in the vault, but the feeling in the heart. And sometimes you have to break something perfect to realize it was perfect all along. So the next time you crack open a Coke, whether you drink it or not, remember, You're not just tasting 140 years of secret ingredients. You're tasting the ripple of a mistake that changed everything. So what's your new Coke moment? That time that you almost lost something and realized what it really meant to you. Share it in the comments below. And if you want to trace more of these powerful currents in history and in life, please hit subscribe and join me next time on The Ripple Trace.